Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Murray Gamble, and I'm pleased to be your host for today's event. I've been honored to be a member of the University of Waterloo Board of Governors for multiple terms over 9 years, and I recently completed my term as Vice Chair of the Board. Through my time on the board, and as a proud alumnus, I've had the great opportunity to work alongside today's honored guest, Feridun Hamdalapur. Feridun has served as President and Vice Chancellor of this fine institution for the past decade. He holds a unique place in history that has been held only by 5 University of Waterloo presidents before him. As with most goodbyes, it's bittersweet to call today a celebration. While there is much to celebrate in Feridun's 2 terms as president, this afternoon's event is our way of saying thank you to a leader who has left a lasting mark on this institution and on many of us attending this virtual event today. Thank you to our alumni, government, and community partners, and supporters of the University of Waterloo who are joining us this afternoon. We are broadcasting live from Federation Hall on the University of Waterloo campus with strict adherence to public health guidelines. Feridun is here in our audience. Welcome to you, sir. And we look forward to hearing from you a bit later in our event. So let's get started. The University of Waterloo works on and off campus to not only advance the goals of the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action, but also to create a long-term vision for the university that is grounded in decolonization. We recognize and acknowledge that the University of Waterloo is situated on the Haldimand Tract, land 6 miles on each side of the Grand River, granted to the Haudenosaunee of 6 nations by the Haldimand Treaty of 1784. The land inside and surrounding the Haldimand Tract, including our Stratford campus, is the traditional territory of the Attawadaron, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee. I also acknowledge and recognize this area is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis groups. As we begin today's celebration, I'm pleased to welcome Jean Becker, Interim Associate Vice President of Human Rights, Equity, and Inclusion, who will bring special greetings.
Bonjour, Sego, Scano, Wache, Tansi, Kwe. So we have gathered today to celebrate President Hamdalapur. Let us bring our minds together as one and give thanks to the Creator of all life, for we are so grateful for this life that we have. Let us first turn our minds to our Mother, the Earth, who gave us life. To her we give thanks. Now let us turn our minds to our elder brothers and sisters, the plants and the animals, who follow their original instructions and continue to give us food, medicines, clothing, and shelter. With joy, we give them thanks. Now we turn our minds to the waters who carry us into the world and sustain our lives. To them we give thanks. Now we turn our minds to the air and we ask that it be cleansed for the life that cannot exist without it. To the air we give thanks. Now we turn our minds to the heavens and our grandfather the sun, who comes each day bringing light, warmth, and energy. To the sun with great happiness we give thanks. Now we turn our minds to the grandmother moon, who looks after the women and the waters. To her we give thanks. Now we turn our minds to the stars, who guide us in the darkness and remind us of the wonder, the glory, and the immensity of creation. We acknowledge that we have only begun to name the many blessings creation has given us, and we ask that we may walk on this earth in a sacred manner. Thank you for joining me to give thanks.
Thank you, Jean. A president of the university works closely with its board of governors to establish the strategic vision of the institution. It is my pleasure to introduce the current chair of the University of Waterloo Board of Governors, Cindy Forbes. Cindy has served on the board since 2012. She is here to bring greetings on behalf of the board members who have worked with Ferryden throughout his presidency. Following Cindy's remarks, we'll hear from the current University Chancellor, Ambassador Dominic Barton. Ladies and gentlemen, Cindy Forbes.
Ferryden, on behalf of the board and past chairs Kevin Lynch and Bill Watson, as well as past governors, I'd like to thank you for the tremendous leadership you've given our great university for more than a decade. Your vision and passion for the university have left an indelible mark on Waterloo. You spearheaded the university's focus, first on gender diversity, joining the UN's He for She initiative, and more recently, our anti-racism initiative, known as PART, or the President's Anti-Racism Task Force. Throughout the 9 years I've known you, you have always been a strong advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion. You led us through the development and implementation of 2 5-year strat plans, both of which set lofty and ambitious goals for the university that built on our existing strengths. The most recent one, Connecting Imagination to Impact, aims to increase the university's impact globally and at home by developing talent for a complex future, advancing research for global impact, and strengthening sustainable and diverse communities. And we are seeing measurable progress in all these areas, building on our best-in-class cooperative education platform to include lifelong learning, expanding our health sciences campus, complete with an innovation arena, and expanding our velocity space, and creating the university's sustainability policy and initiatives under Shift Neutral. Throughout your presidency, you have had an unwavering focus on our students, connecting with them, addressing support for student mental health, and improving the experience of our students. Our students are the university's most important legacy, and for your dedication to them, I and the board truly thank you. Ferryden, we've been through a lot together. However, the memory of the days we spent together in Stockholm, celebrating and taking in the experience of Donna Strickland receiving the 2018 Nobel Prize in Physics will always be one that I treasure. And I would like to thank you for all of the time that we spent together serving the university and the collaboration that I've received as the chair of the board. Ferryden, I wish you and Kathy all the best in the next chapter of your life together. I know it will be full of adventure and hopefully a bit of relaxation for both of you. And now please welcome our Chancellor, Ambassador Dominic Barton.
I'm so happy to be able to join all of you in celebrating President Ferryden Hamdullahpur's decade of impact. I've had the opportunity to work with Ferryden since I joined the university as Chancellor in 2018, and I've loved every minute of it. He is an incredibly fun, warm, and exciting fellow to work with, but I think the things we'll remember are in the legacy of the decade that he's been leading at Waterloo are his total commitment to innovation, to rethinking what is the role of a university, the strategy, if you will, but also focused on the people, the faculty, and in particular the students, and wanting to make this the very best place in the world for students to learn how to be leaders, and thinking about the alumni after people have graduated, reconnecting, building that incredible asset for the university. So there are so many dimensions of Ferryden to talk about. I just can't do it justice, but it's on the strategy, it's on the people, and it's on the warmth and caring and forthrightness in which he operates. So Ferryden, thank you for your dedication to the University of Waterloo, to the staff and to the faculty, to students, families, and all the communities, not just in Waterloo and in Canada, but around the world for your leadership. Congratulations on a decade of incredible impact. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do with the next 10, 20, and 30 years, because you're such an amazing leader. Thank you, Ferryden.
Thank you, Cindy and Ambassador Barton. To change things up a little bit, next we're going to hear a musical performance. Those close to Ferryden know he is passionate about music, especially classical music and opera. For today's celebration, we have specially commissioned University of Waterloo student musicians to perform a piece in Ferryden's honor. This performance was pre-recorded due to public health guidelines. The talented young student musicians you're about to hear from are Lila Wang, Jolie Ho, Avery Chu, and director Ben Bolt Martin. Please enjoy. Thank you so much to our talented student musicians. That was wonderful. What I love about the University of Waterloo is that even as we continue to build our reputation as a global leader, we stay true to our local roots. Throughout Ferryden's time as president, he championed the University of Waterloo both at home and around the world. Here in Waterloo Region, he hosted annual President's Community Breakfasts and launched his President's Community Impact Awards to celebrate the deep connection between the university and the community. He also made sure to attend annual Canada Day celebrations on Columbia Lake Field, eagerly passing out Canada flags and cupcakes to local children. On an international stage, he had the opportunity to attend the World Economic Forum in Davos, and he was one of 10 global university presidents who were appointed as he for she 10 by 10 by 10 impact champions. He traveled extensively, signing global research agreements with international universities such as the University of Bordeaux, the Hong Kong University of Technology, and the National University of Singapore, and visiting alumni across the world, from Silicon Valley to Hong Kong, was always an important part of Ferryden's global outreach. Ferryden, we asked some of your colleagues to share messages of what your leadership has meant on a global stage and here at home. Let's take a look.
Hello, Ferryden. Many congratulations on a wonderful term of office at Waterloo University. From all your friends at the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow here in Scotland, we send you our very best wishes. Since we first met on the campus at Waterloo, I knew that there was a great resonance between Waterloo and Strathclyde. That same vision of entrepreneurship, of contribution to society, based around academic excellence and a sense of purpose. I knew I was right at home when we met and we planned for further collaboration between our two institutions. And of course, it was a great pleasure to have you join the Strathclyde family as an honorary graduate in the past couple of years. I'm sure that your legacy will last long and fast after you have left. So we look forward to keeping in touch with you. Many congratulations again for all your achievements at Waterloo, and we look forward to building our relationship between our two institutions. Thank you and good luck.
Hi, Ferryden. I remember I sent you my condolences when you were appointed president of Waterloo. And now that you're stepping down, moving to a new page of your career, I would like to send you my congratulations. And I think being a fellow university president, I hope you understand what I meant. Since you became president, I've gotten to know Waterloo much better. And I'm really even more impressed by Waterloo, especially in my field, which is computer science and applied math, but also in engineering in general, and especially in your co-op program and your entrepreneurship program. Like I visited your Velocity, incubator, for example, I remember. I admire your energy, Ferryden, your very collaborative spirit and your global outlook. And I think that has served Waterloo very, very well. And I hope we'll run into each other again in another context. And please keep in touch. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Hi, it's me, Bartis Chager, just sending a quick message to say thank you. Thank you for your numerous contributions to the University of Waterloo, as well as the entire community. We've been really lucky to have you. You're a fabulous addition. And so I'm really happy to know that you're sticking around. And with that, I just want you to know that I'm looking forward to hearing about the next chapter and everything that you're going to do and how we get to continue working together, because there is a lot more that we need to do. So congratulations on all you have accomplished thus far, and best wishes for all of your future endeavors. Keep well and safe, and I will see you soon. Take care.
Hi Ferryden, it's Catherine Fife, your favorite New Democrat. I want to thank you for all of your friendship and leadership over the years. You've always been incredibly inclusive and welcoming for me on the campus. You even shared your famous hot sauce on a number of occasions. In this next chapter of your life, I'm wishing you all the best. Please stay in touch. This community thanks you.
Hi Ferryden, and hello to everybody who's gathered there to celebrate with you today. For 33 years I sat on the board of the University of Waterloo. Many great presidents, Doug Wright, James Downey, David Johnson, and more recently yourself. It was always great to see such committed leadership that we always had at the University of Waterloo from its presidents. As a region, we worked together with the university on a lot of projects: the School of Architecture, the Medical School, the Research and Technology Park, the Accelerator Center, assistance with groundwater protection, all sorts of partnerships that worked well. And a lot of that success in those partnerships stemmed from the fact that the presidents were always supportive and are always great partners in our work together. I was always proud of the fact that Waterloo had such great name recognition when we went out and looked at economic development and other ventures. And a large part of that name recognition really came from the University of Waterloo. I was always proud of that connection, and I knew that Waterloo was a source of a bunch of that recognition because of its entrepreneurship, its research, its high-tech sector, a lot of things that the university built around it and contributed to the success of our region. For that, I have to give a lot of credit to all of the presidents, and most recently with my time working with you, Ferryden, over the years. It's been a great pleasure being there, and the fact that your commitment to the region It was exhibited in so many ways, spoke volumes to the great work that you did. So on behalf of the larger community, I just want to say thanks for a job well done. We'll remember your time at Waterloo as a time of great things happening and wish you all the best in the years ahead. I'm sure you have lots of adventures planned. All the best, and thanks again for all that you've done for us. Thanks, Ferriton.
I want to express my most sincere appreciation towards Dr. Hamdullah, our president of the university, for his great leadership over the past decade, and most importantly, his emphasis and focuses into young talents cultivation, entrepreneurs grooming, and connectivity among students, alumni globally. I want to thank you, President Yu, that under your guidance and mentorship, I'm very honored to have established the Waterloo Innovation Hub in Hong Kong, as well as roll out the AMTD Waterloo Postdoctorate Fellowship Program. Thank you, Ferriton, for everything. Thank you, University.
Universities are steeped in history and tradition. By all accounts, the University of Waterloo is a relatively young institution. In 2017, we celebrated our 60th anniversary during Ferriton's leadership. This was a year-long acknowledgement of innovation, tradition, and visioning for the future. The year was kicked off by a public lecture, headlined by Edward Snowden, who delivered remarks virtually from an undisclosed location. Next, we will hear from two prominent figures in this university's history. The university's historian, Ken McLaughlin, reflects on the mark that Ferriton's time as our sixth president leaves in the Waterloo history books. Following Ken's message, you will hear from Ferriton's predecessor, the Right Honorable David Johnston, the university's fifth president and former Governor General of Canada. Gentlemen, over to you.
I want to begin in rather an unorthodox way, perhaps, by showing you one particular image. This is an image of Ferriton and me speaking at the Hagey Hall extension at the opening of that event. And what struck me then and is striking me now is how pleased President Hagey would have been with the direction that President Hamdullah has taken the University of Waterloo. Hagey clearly wanted to create a major and modern, effective Canadian university, and Ferriton has done that exceptionally well. I have a second image which also has a story to tell. This is a book called Innovation and Entrepreneurship Are in the Waterloo Genome. It was in fact sponsored by Ferryden, and I have a cute story about it. First of all, the cover is one that I chose, and when I did so, I was told this was Ferryden's favorite image. So I was very pleased about that. But the second thing is, I used to give Ferryden chapters to read at home. He would take them home in the evening and come back the next day and say, we have a problem with this book. And I said, oh, what could that be? And he said, well, the problem is that when I take each chapter home, Kathy and I have a huge discussion over which one of us can get to read it first. And I thought, wonderful problem for me to have. And the last image is kind of an interesting one for me, which is this one. That is Ferryden with my grandchildren at the book launch. And Ferryden had invited the children up onto the stage before allowing me to speak. And it's a fascinating image because it shows Ferryden with these children, Ferryden's kindness, his consideration. It also shows the idea of recruiting the next generation of students to come to Waterloo. And when I finally was allowed to speak, my opening remarks were, what a hard act that is to follow. And I thought, what a good conclusion. My remarks for the new president is that Ferryden will be a very hard act to follow. I wish Ferryden every success and that he and Kathy enjoy Ferryden's new career, whatever it is, after he ceases being president. Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure to do this.
I'm so delighted to join you all by video and express my great congratulations to Ferryden, who's become such a dear friend over the years. I want to go back to the very first time I met Ferryden for any in-depth conversation when we were seeking a provost for the University of Waterloo. And I went to Ottawa and went to his home and sat down at his kitchen table. And we talked about the job. At the end of it, he agreed. And there are three things about that conversation that I remember so well. The first was his real focus on the student and the learning experience. And of course, being an engineer, he was especially excited about co-op education, work experience, and how we take that to the next level at the University of Waterloo of theory and practice going hand in hand. The second was our place in the world, the place of the University of Waterloo in the world, and the place of Canada in the world. Ferryden grew up in Turkey and chose Canada as his place of destiny. Came for graduate studies and stayed on doing his research and teaching in engineering and various vice presidential positions, and then came to us as provost. And I think so conscious of what I say of Canada being the Athens to the new Romes around the world. We have a soft power that is really very important, and that is a public education system that is ranks at the very top in the world in terms of having equality of opportunity and excellence too. Ferryden understood that and brought that perspective of seeing the world from away and Canada's position in the world as being very externally oriented. And I think our international population at the University of Waterloo reflects that. The third thing I would say is its practicality. That practicality, I think, was important to us at that particular time in the destination of our university. And seeing how that practicality and that emphasis on getting things done resonated so well with the Waterloo community. So bravo, Ferryden. I remember so well that conversation 10 years ago and the 10 years since then. And I look forward to another good conversation with you about the next step in the journey.
As you have heard, Ferryden has embodied the university's innovation agenda with gusto, both here and across the globe. He launched the long-standing innovation platform, the Waterloo Innovation Summit, with speakers and partners from Tesla, Google, Dyson, Microsoft, and Forbes, to name just a few. The event was a showcase of Waterloo's innovation expertise and was later taken on the road to Toronto, Vancouver, the United Kingdom, and of course, online. He welcomed municipal, provincial, and federal government leaders for special tours, funding announcements, and grand openings for top research initiatives like the Waterloo Artificial Intelligence Institute. He hosted hundreds of international visitors and delegations, from the President of Croatia, the King and Queen of the Netherlands, and even a visit from astronaut Chris Hadfield live from space. And at the provincial and federal level, Ferryden has been an active voice in shaping how post-secondary research and teaching can and does change the world. Ferryden, we asked some of your colleagues to reflect on this impact. But first, when people think of innovation and entrepreneurship at Waterloo, what often comes to mind is Velocity, the university's startup incubator program. Perhaps it's not surprising that Velocity turned 10 during Ferryden's decade as president. Milestones like opening a science hub in downtown Kitchener and opening its current location at the Communitech Hub have all paved the way for even more to come, including a move to the university's Innovation Arena, which you heard Cindy mention as a top strategic legacy for Ferryden. Former Velocity director Jay Shaw has this to share about Ferryden's influence.
Leaders enable others to succeed, and you enabled my success as a student, an alumni entrepreneur, and later as the director of Velocity. Thank you for making bold, ambitious bets on the underestimated. We have seen time and time again the amazing things that happen when you bet on bold, hungry, driven people. Some see making those types of bets as a risk, but you saw them as an opportunity to be embraced. That's the type of thinking and leadership that enabled Velocity to be Canada's most productive incubator and enabled the university as a whole to be the largest output of tech startup founders in the country. Thank you for a decade of leadership, Ferryden.
Ferryden, I remember meeting you 10 years ago when you were the newly minted president of University of Waterloo in Ottawa when you came to meet some deputy ministers. And I remember you outlining your vision, your plans for the university. You have done a lot, my friend. So when you look back, you must be proud, and you should be proud that you had a big hand in raising the future leaders, future entrepreneurs, future innovators for our country, but also for the world. So my friend, Chuck Tapertlat.
Ferryden, congratulations for your incredible accomplishments as President and Vice Chancellor at the University of Waterloo. It has been a great pleasure working with you. You have been a mainstay at the Council of Ontario Universities for more than 2 decades. First, serving the Ontario Council for University Research, and then the Ontario Council of Academic Vice Presidents, before leading with respect and distinction at the Executive Heads Table of COU. As a tireless champion of research and innovation and experiential education, you have demonstrated an endless commitment to your students, community, and the economy. Ferryden, on behalf of the Council of Ontario Universities, I would like to thank you for your strong leadership and support and wish you all the best for the future.
Congratulations, Ferryden, on a successful tenure as the President and Vice Chancellor of the University of Waterloo. You've done a tremendous job, and I vividly recall the first time I was with the PM and we visited the Velocity Science Lab and met with a number of students. And you talked about the importance of fundamental research in science and translating that into solutions that would have a positive impact on society. You played a critical role in creating a culture of innovation, not only in Waterloo, but across the country and internationally as well. And so I want to say again, thank you for stepping up and doing an incredible job of empowering young people and challenging them to succeed in many ways. All the best in your future endeavors, and I know you'll continue to have a positive impact.
In just a few weeks, the university will host its 122nd convocation. As our students cross the stage, albeit a virtual stage right now, they make the exciting transition from student to alumni. As an alumnus myself, I know that I'm connected to a network of leaders from around the world, all united by our great pride in the University of Waterloo. We asked Megan Kimball, the current chair of the University of Waterloo Alumni Council, to bring some remarks on behalf of our alumni community. But first, you will hear from some former student government leaders from the Waterloo Undergraduate Student Association. They reflect on what they have learned about leadership from Ferryden.
Hi, Ferryden. Congratulations.
Ferryden led with genuine intentions, so he really understood the student values, ambitions, goals, that they can contribute to a larger initiative. And he took advantage of the brilliant-minded students we have on campus, and we led great projects under his leadership.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to Ferryden instilling collegiality on campus. He valued different people from different positions and different walks of life, bringing from all corners of campus people together to solve the problems at hand in a respectful way.
I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from Ferryden was the willingness and the positive impact it has to have the tough and hard conversations with people around the table, to have that collaboration and openness to come up with active solutions to unique problems that on campus we were experiencing at various times.
I think PAC SMH is the one that really comes to mind, the Student Mental Health Committee. I think that's a great example of where Ferryden recognized that something needed to change on campus, built a team, and then trusted that team to carry out its work.
A lot of the initiatives that we were able to accomplish on campus under his watch talk to and address the student experience. I'm thinking of accomplishments like the Equity Office, the University of Waterloo's involvement in He for She, PAC SMH Mental Health, and the President's Anti-Racism Task Force. Those are initiatives that will ultimately have a deep impact on the student experience on campus and make UW a more equitable place. That's something that Ferryden needs to be credited for.
And Ferryden left us thinking, not that we always have to have the right answers, but that sometimes we just have to ask the right questions to get to where we need to go. And so with that, Ferryden, we wanted to thank you for your time with UW. You've definitely left it better than you found it, and we wouldn't be here without you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
On behalf of our global alumni community, thank you. Thank you for your leadership on and off campus. Thank you for your willingness to take selfies with students, alumni, and pretty much anyone who asks. Thank you for taking the time to get to know students and alumni you have met worldwide. I have heard that a number of alumni have approached you in the airport lounges to say hello. So thank you for continuing their connection to Waterloo and for finding out what they are doing now. Many of us were students when Ferryden began his tenure. And in fact, if I've done my rough math correctly, approximately 65,500 students became alumni. And throughout the last 10 years, we saw his dedication firsthand. Did you know that Ferryden's first convocation was the university's 100th ceremony? And that in June 2018, the 200,000th alumni crossed the stage? Those are remarkable milestones that go a long way to helping us grow the alumni community. Being a math alumnus, these numbers are important. Students eventually become alumni, and Ferryden knows how important it is to bolster our community post-graduation. As the Alumni Council President, I have seen firsthand the impact of Ferryden's leadership. The creation of 10 chapters and 26 ambassadors through the Global Alumni Volunteer Network has enabled alumni to connect with each other. This has led the way for numerous alumni to give back through connecting, teaching, and learning from their fellow alumni. He actively engages with alumni, inviting us into an exclusive community of smart, hardworking, and passionate professionals, reminding us of the amazing influence we can have on the Waterloo region, Canada, and the world. So I wanted to say a personal thank you for all that you have given to the University of Waterloo. One of the greatest legacies of your presidency has been the heartfelt commitment for and to students, the university's future alumni. I am delighted to share that as a tribute to your dedication, and so that the next generations of young alumni will benefit from your leadership, the university has a few funds to support student initiatives on campus, and I am asking alumni tonight, if you are able to contribute to this fund, please join me in making a gift that supports future members of our alumni community in honor of Ferryden. Thank you.
Thank you for those wonderful reflections. For those who are inclined to donate to initiatives in honor of Ferryden, details can be found in the chat to the right of your screen. It's now my pleasure to introduce the university's Provost and Vice President Academic, Jim Rush. Jim will share a few reflections on Ferryden's leadership and introduce a very special announcement.
I'm pleased to bring remarks on behalf of your senior team, Ferryden. When I came to the role of Provost in 2018, one of the things I remember from our first meeting is that you had me stand up and you stood right behind me facing the opposite direction. You said that this is like the way you want to work together with your leadership team, making sure that we're working together and knowing that we have each other's backs. As a team, we've all been fortunate to have this kind of support and loyalty from you and to work alongside you on some of the important contributions you've made as president. We have also watched you work collaboratively with our community to protect and advance our key traditional and emerging strengths in academics, research, cooperative education, innovation, and entrepreneurship, while also advancing the institution's commitment to address some of the most important social issues of our time, including freedom of speech, equity, diversity, and inclusion, Indigenous and anti-racism initiatives, and sustainability commitments. While all of these foci will transcend your time as president, your decade of impact has set the foundation for UWaterloo to accelerate forward on these important journeys. Without a doubt, what stands out to so many of us, having watched and worked with you during your presidency, is your obvious passion for our students. Each year you made a pact with students during Welcome Week, a pact for them to meet you again on the stage at Convocation. In the meantime, you visited them in classrooms and hosted pop-up cafes and town halls to hear from them. You served them lunch at student barbecues and worked with students directly in many formal and informal ways. And at the convocations of those students, you delighted in seeing them as our new alumni and hearing them share their next steps in life and their pride in our great university. You have left a long-standing legacy on many issues affecting our students' lives, including their support, success, wellness, and mental health. I know that a great source of pride for you has been watching the transformation of our campus to include new spaces where students can thrive. While COVID has impacted the timing of the grand opening of the expansion to the Student Life Center and the Physical Activities Complex until after your presidency, we know how proud you are to have been part of ensuring we will have this amazing space for generations of Waterloo students to come. And of course, one of your passion projects was the Field House. Today, as we recognize your legacy, it is my great pleasure to introduce a special gift to you on behalf of the University of Waterloo.
The Fieldhouse is a space to train and play the sport I love. The first time I visited the Fieldhouse, I thought of the potential it will provide my team to train all year round.
And it's aspects like this that help student athletes continue to compete at a high level.
The Fieldhouse provides a social environment for student athletes, allowing us to put forward the best possible versions of ourselves.
What I like most about the Fieldhouse is that so many different organizations and teams can all benefit from using the Fieldhouse.
What I like most about the Fieldhouse is being able to train in comfort, especially during those cold October 6 a.m. practices.
President Hum de Lapper, thank you for giving us this space.
We're grateful for everything you've done for Waterloo students.
When the Fieldhouse opened, we were told that it was our house.
We're pleased to announce that now it's yours too.
Thank you again for your decade of impact as president.
We'll all miss you.
And we all wish you the best.
Wow, what a remarkable tribute. It's my pleasure to open the floor to you now, Ferryden. We're all looking forward to hearing some of your reflections on your time as president.
Thank you very much, Murray. Thank you very much, everybody, for your incredibly kind and generous comments. I'm truly humbled. and it's impossible not to be emotional at this moment. Like for many of us, there are a number of inflection points, turning points, critical decision-making points in one's career path. I always told our students, whether they first came to the university or when they were graduating or somewhere in between, that not to put themselves in a box, not to see a linear, predictable pathway in front of them. Life has so many gifts, so many twists and turns, and I know that many of our students, including myself, we were ready to face them, enjoy them, be challenged, and challenge those twists and turns. One of the most important decisions for me was in between graduation and industry work and more graduate work to decide one day that what lied in definitely between my heart and my mind, that I wanted to discover things. I wanted my curiosity to drive me, and left a nice, comfortable private sector job, went back to the academia. Things were going fine. Then decided that's not the only thing I wanted to do. So I left, again, a comfortable state and moved to Canada almost 40 years ago. That was one of the most important decisions I made. I will never regret that. And at one point, many people will call a moment of madness, I decided to enter into academic administration. While I had a really thriving research career and truly enjoying my teaching, I wanted to do that. And my colleagues asked me, my friends asked me, why? Because it was time. And that fits beautifully into Waterloo's motto. If you think that something needs to get done, don't leave it to somebody else. You can do it, just do it. So that was the decision for me, to make a bigger difference in our students' life, and to see a bigger picture, to fulfill a bigger requirement. And of course, during that journey, again, incredibly important decision, probably the best decision I made, was to move to the University of Waterloo, to Waterloo. Again, leaving a comfortable situation, position, life, because at that moment I knew that what I had in my heart, what I had in my mind, aligned extremely well with what the University of Waterloo had to offer. Since that moment, I have never stopped dreaming big every day for the University of Waterloo, because I know deep down what our institution is capable of doing. Every day for me was motivated by our students' dedication, their dreams, their aspirations, but also their motivation. Their motivation was my motivation. Every day I got up and said, well, today has to be a different day. Today has to be a better day for the university, for its students, for its alumni, for its staff, for its faculty members. The university has never disappointed me in terms of its ability to see and seize upon challenges. I will attribute it to our host today, Murray Gamble. He describes the University of Waterloo as things get done here. We just don't talk about them, we get them done. And this is what we've been doing. There are many issues, challenges, complexities that are not only our country is facing, but the whole world is facing. We know that we could only look for solutions. We can only look for solutions that will go way outside of the box that many people will like to see them in. At the University of Waterloo, our greatest asset, I will say, is our students. We are so blessed to have so many gifted students. While they could go to so many other institutions, they choose to come to the University of Waterloo because they also know that we have the right chemistry for them. We have the right environment for them. They see themselves belonging in here. They see themselves as being part of the university, not just coming here and passing through, but building this institution, together with our institution, building better, bigger things together. And I have been so, so proud of them. I have the privilege and opportunity of meeting them here in this hall, many of them, when they first come here. I meet them, I greet them and their parents, and I listen to them. I ask them why you chose to come here. They tell me what they think of the institution. As it was indicated, I asked them to promise me that I will meet them again, if not sooner, but at their convocation. And I hear their stories, how the university has fulfilled their expectations and their dreams, and what it is that they're going to do. As I listen to them, I can't tell you how elevated I am, how incredibly proud I am that they are talking about things incredibly new, innovative, courageous, and they have followed what we talked about. If I could humbly say my advice, that they are doing things that are not in a linear pathway. There couldn't be a bigger, better gift for me. It's true, it's been one of the biggest challenges to balance presence here and presence around the world. I'm so proud to have been connected with over 210,000 very proud University of Waterloo alumni from around the world. As I go and listen to them, whether it's in Toronto, whether here at home in Waterloo and Kitchener, or whether it's in China, anywhere in the world, they tell me about incredible experience they had at the University of Waterloo and what that has helped them to build the incredible element of their success. For a university president, there could not be a better gift than seeing the success of our students. At the same time, I'm incredibly proud of my faculty colleagues, that they also, their dedication to the betterment of the world we live in, our dedication to our country's well-being and its prosperity, but they're also their dedication to our students. I'm grateful to many industry leaders, many private sector leaders, government leaders, all around the world. They recognize the University of Waterloo's unique and special place in this world, and I'm grateful for their support and acknowledgement. As we move forward, I recognize that there are many other things to do. The University of Waterloo, in its short history, has accomplished so much. I will take another hour or two to try to summarize that. But I could say that we are following an exponential curve, and there is a lot more to do. I am very proud to have taken over this institution from my mentor, great colleague, friend, David Johnston. I tried, together with my incredible colleagues, my incredible senior team, that I am so grateful to. We worked very hard to ensure that we have brought this university to a much higher state than I took over. And I'm doing the same thing. I hope that my successor, Vivek Goel, will take over this institution on July 1st and will take it to a newer heights. On behalf of my family and myself, I'm grateful for this opportunity. It's been a fabulous dream. I'm still very much committed to this institution. I will be a very, very strong, enthusiastic cheerleader for the University of Waterloo. And again, thank you so much. It's been a great honor. I always joked about the field house. I said the reason why we call it a field house because it has my initials, FH. So it was not a conspiracy. This was totally unexpected. What a beautiful gift. What a beautiful surprise. Thank you so much for this recognition. Murray?
Ferden, we thank you for your heartfelt remarks and more importantly, for your 10 years of passionate dedication to this great university. And thank you to all of our friends and partners viewing online today. Following today's program, you will receive a follow-up email from the university. This email will include easy links should you wish to make a contribution to the fund in honor of Ferden, so that his commitment to students will live on. If you have not already taken a moment to submit a tribute for Ferden, that link will be provided to you as well. And do check out that website for great stories, photos, and see other tributes that truly speak to the impact that Ferden has had as the University of Waterloo's 6th president and vice chancellor. It truly has been a decade of impact. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our program. Thank you all, and take good care.